All right, let's talk about something I'm pretty sure we've all felt. You know that feeling. You finish a long day of work, staring at screens, back-to-back meetings, and you're just toast. Mentally, I mean. You've got that passion project, that thing you really want to work on, but your brain just says, nope. So what's the deal with that? And more importantly, how do we fix it? Yeah, that's the feeling right there. And the weird part is, you're not physically tired, right? You didn't just go run a marathon. But creatively, you're completely bankrupt. So what happens? You crash on the couch, you find yourself endlessly scrolling on your phone, maybe playing some video games, all while that thing you actually want to be creating just sits there. Okay, so this isn't just you being lazy or unmotivated. This feeling is real. It's physiological. And believe it or not, it actually has a scientific name. We're about to uncover the root cause behind this. Let's call it the drained brain problem.
And here it is. The culprit's name is directed attention fatigue. We'll just call it DAF. Now, the best way to think about this is to imagine your focus as a muscle. All day long, you're flexing that muscle, right? You're concentrating on tasks, you're pushing away distractions, but just like any muscle, it gets tired. It has a limit. And by the end of the day, that muscle is just completely spent.
And when DAF hits, it's not just about feeling mentally tired. It's so much more than that. Think of your brain's air traffic control tower suddenly running on fumes. Your whole system starts to go haywire. You find it harder to ignore random thoughts. Your self-control just goes out the window. Decision-making feels impossible, and you get so much more irritable. You know that moment you snap over something tiny? Yep, you can probably thank DAF for that. So, if our focus muscle is totally wiped out, what do? How do we let it recover? Well, the good news is there's a pretty powerful fix. It's based on a fascinating idea called attention restoration theory. And honestly, it's kind of like finding a secret reset button for your brain. Now, here's the key. The answer isn't just to stop working. It's not about zoning out in front of the TV. The real antidote is to shift your attention to something very specific. It's a state called soft fascination. It's this gentle, almost effortless kind of attention that gives that focus muscle of yours the space it needs to actually heal and recover. And this is such a crucial distinction. Most of the things we think are relaxing are actually what scientists call hard fascination. Think about it. Video games, scrolling through social media, even a really intense movie. They grab your attention, for sure, but they demand it. They're still making that focus muscle work. Soft fascination, that's the total opposite. It's effortless. It's watching clouds, or the flames in a fireplace, or just listening to the sound of rain. Your mind is gently engaged, but there's zero effort involved. It's a total game changer. Okay, that sounds great, but how does it actually work in our brains? What's the science here? Well, let's get into the specific ingredients you need for this kind of deep mental restoration. So, the researchers who came up with this whole theory identified 4 key things. First, you need to be away. That means getting some mental space from your everyday grind. Second is extent. The place has to be interesting enough to let your mind explore a bit. Third, compatibility. It has to match your goal, right? A loud, chaotic street isn't going to work if you want quiet reflection. And finally, number 4, fascination. It has to have that gentle, effortless quality that holds your attention without trying. And here's the cool part, the how it works. When you experience soft fascination, you're actually firing up a part of your brain called the default mode network. You can just think of this as your brain's daydreaming network. It's what's active when your mind is just wandering freely. So by switching on this network, you're effectively switching off the part of your brain that does all the heavy lifting for focus. You're giving that tired muscle a real break. All right, so the big question, how much of this stuff do we actually need? Is it hours a day? Well, a huge study looked into this and came back with a surprisingly specific number. Turns out people who get at least 120 minutes a week in nature see a major jump in their health and well-being. Now, I know what you're thinking. 120 minutes? 2 hours? Who has time for that? But hold on, let's do the math. That breaks down to just about 17 minutes a day. 17! Suddenly that sounds totally doable, right? It's a tiny investment for a massive payoff for your brain. So what's a super easy way to get those 17 minutes in and maybe even spark some new ideas at the same time? The answer couldn't be simpler, and it comes with a huge creativity bonus. Just go for a walk. There's this amazing old Latin phrase, solvitur ambulando. It means it is solved by walking. And it's so true. Think about it. Some of the greatest minds, people like Einstein, Steve Jobs, they were famous walkers. They knew that walking wasn't just exercise, it was a tool for thinking. And hey, this isn't just some feel-good idea. It's backed by science. A landmark study from Stanford put a number on it. Get this, a person's creative output, we're talking about their ability to come up with new ideas, it went up by an average of 60% while walking. 60% just from getting up and moving.
Okay, but here's a really interesting detail. The research shows that walking and being in nature do two different but complementary things. The walking part is what helps ideas flow more freely. That's called divergent thinking. But the nature part is what actually recharges your brain's focus battery, your executive attention. So you see how they work together? Walking is the spark plug, and nature is the fuel.